Hey, seventh graders. Good to see you guys. Today's Thursday, April 9th, and we're finishing up our chapter on Reconstruction. You have a narration that's due today, so get on that. Add it to your Google Doc that you've already shared with me, and it'll be put on the fourth 9 weeks. We're in the fourth 9 weeks now, guys, and congratulations. We're almost there. So today, I want to just finish up some stuff about Reconstruction, add two more thoughts to the chapter, and then want to read your narration. So, what did you learn this chapter? What was important to you? That's what I want to hear about in your narrations. Tell me all the things you learned, and let's talk about these two concepts that were in the book. So, we said that the South really resented Reconstruction. They didn't want to get along with the process of reconciliation after the Civil War. And to illustrate that, we have in our book two terms that the South uses just to show you a little insight into how they're thinking about Reconstruction. So the first one is scallywags. The book talks about scallywags was a name they gave to people in the South who went along with Reconstruction. This is what they viewed people who were in any way friendly towards ideas of changing the way politics worked in the South. And they called them scallywags. It was a name of derision, a name of, it's like an insult to put down. Scallywag was a Southerner who went along with the North and was helping out with Reconstruction. And then a carpetbagger was the name that they gave to a Northern person who came down to the South to run for election, right? Remember that the South couldn't have elections until a certain amount of percentage of people agreed to the new state constitutions that they were proposing. So a lot of people were like, no, we don't want to be a part of this. And to fill the spots, the political spots, a lot of people came from north down to the South to run for political office. They said, oh, if Southerners aren't going to run, we'll get some Northerners to run for election down in the South. And those people were called carpetbaggers. Why? Well, here's a picture of what they thought a carpetbagger was. Someone who came down with all their possessions. They didn't really live down in the South. They had all their possessions in a bag, and they were just capitalizing on this moment of time where the South was starting again, and so they had contempt for these Northerners who tried to come down south and run for office. They were called carpetbaggers. So scallywags, carpetbaggers, gives you a little insight into what most Southerners are feeling towards the Reconstruction. They have names of derision, names, insults that they're hurling about to anyone who's going along with it, from the North and from the South. And then today I wanted to talk about the Homestead Act. This isn't really pertain necessarily to Reconstruction, but it's happening, starts in 1862, and it's really going to kick into high gear after the Civil War. The Homestead Act was a law that gave 40 acres of land out west for $10. All you had to do was sign a $10 filing fee, and then the government gave you 40 acres. And this was a huge incentive to go out and settle the West. Up to this point, settling the West, it was done, but it wasn't done super frequently. Remember, people went out west to maybe strike it rich, to get gold. Remember in 1849? That's true, but people weren't going out there to like start a new life. It was still, undeveloped. There wasn't a ton of stuff to do out there. You would have, hard to get back to the east if you did go out west. And so you really had to be a tough person to make it out west. The Homestead Act made a lot of people go out there, and it became easier to go out west. If you knew you were going to get lots of land, and if lots of other people were doing it with you, you could go out in groups. And the Homestead Act really accelerated westward expansion. And you could think about the problems that might arise from all of this new movement out west. For one, there are people living out there. the Native Americans. And so the conflict with Native Americans is really going to heighten during this period. It's always been a tumultuous relationship, but now you have people wanting to settle out there and thinking that land is theirs, and fencing it off. Once they get the 40 acres, way to claim it was put a fence around it, and there you go. You got your 40 acres. Well, the fences was not something that Native Americans were super fond of. They didn't they didn't think of land like that. They thought of it as kind of communal, and you could roam around and use the land to hunt, and not necessarily a farm. And so they were just two different views of the land. One using it for farming, one using it for hunting and resources. Um, and so these two cultures are going to collide out west because of the Homestead Act. So, but it does lead to lots of expansion out west. The Homestead Act, cheap land, and new opportunities for immigrants, for people that maybe had worked in factories, worked in cities, lived in cities. They were just itching to get some land and go out into the wild, wild west. So that starts in 1862, and it's going to really accelerate after the Civil War. People are going to rush out there, staking their claim to this land, and try to start a new life out west. All right, that's it for Chapter 17. I'm interested to hear what you think about it. Reconstruction, promises, and some of the failures. Some of the good, some of the bad that went with Reconstruction. All right, have a good Easter, guys, and I'll see you next week on Tuesday. Bye.